Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today we're covering a Sentinel weapon that should definitely be at least on your radar after the Pets 2.0 rework we got last year. This is the tazicor. This thing is actually somewhat impactful and worth at least thinking about, going from the worst weapon in the game to one of the Sentinel weapons you might actually want to not instantly delete the ribbon for when you're unveiling them for the Verglas. So let's get right into it. Before we do, make sure you sub this channel, do daily Warframe video uploads, build videos, news videos, all that kind of stuff. Your right place for Warframe content. We'll be also live on stream today with some Omni Formal Bundle giveaways. Come on, stop by if you want to. Alright, so let's start with the tazicor here. This thing is actually somewhat underrated, I'd say. It's not really used for DPS, though. It's used for big CC lockdown. So as far as what the tazicor does, this is a chaining beam Sentinel gun. So think of it like the Amprex or the Tenant Galaxian, basically. That's actually thinking very similar to Tenant Galaxian today, because we're actually doing a AoE lockdown build for this thing. Which, if you could look in the background, I am using speed, no enemies run faster. Because of our build, we can actually have the enemies run towards us, and then with the tazicor, it freezes them solid, so they're very easy to kill as they get close to me. Very good for my red crits on my Dara Vandal. Additionally, we've got the Diraga Sentinel with the mod Synth Deconstruct to give us tons of orbs, so we're getting lots and lots of energy supply with the Equilibrium mod. So let's hop right into the Simulacrum and show how these things are working. Now, first things first. You could use this weapon for DPS. I'm using it for actually AoE lockdown right now, and it is the tazicor Sentinel gun. So here's what I'm going to be using. So I shoot these, actually I don't shoot these guys. My Sentinel shoots them, and as you can see, AoE freeze. Very, very easy. I can speed them up if they were to be able to move. They would not actually be able to move very far because they're frozen solid. So freezes will not work on Eximus enemies, like overguarded enemies. If they lose their overguard, you can freeze them, but yeah. If an enemy has overguard, they will not become fully frozen. And if you have not played Warframe in a while, yes, cold procs can now fully freeze enemies solid. Additionally, when an enemy is frozen like that, they have increased critical damage, which is very good for a red crit weapon, and we're using this weapon today. It is to be using some Vigilante mods to give us even more red crit. So literally one bullet, AoE explosion, and that is... These guys can't even move. They're getting increased damage from the cold. They're getting, they can't move, basically. They have lots of procs on them for condition overload. It's just very, very straightforward and easy. So let's go ahead and show how the tazicor is doing that stuff and how you can potentially utilize that yourself. So we've got the Diraga Sentinel and the tazicor weapon. We're mainly focusing on the tazicor weapon today because this can be used on any Sentinel, but I'll show the Diraga build too. So tazicor releases a burst of static electricity that can jump between foes, incapacitating them. This thing used to have like 3 base damage and even worse base stats, but they changed how it works entirely from like a projectile rifle to a chaining lightning gun, which is what we have now. 12 fire rate, 40 magazine, 20 meters of range, and 50% crit chance with 25% stat chance, and only electric. So when we're making a build today, like you saw those cold procs, you need to have something involving electric on your build, so we got corrosive cold on here. Now as far as the build, again, if you don't have a ribbon, this ribbon's honestly probably not that good. I have negative 1% crit chance. So if you don't have a ribbon, just put a toxin mod there. Malignant Force will go great. And then actually your cold winning will be a little bit better than mine too. So big thing here, guys, is that we have a corrosive cold build with really high status chance. And the very important mod on here is called Shivering Contagion. This drops from Murmur enemies on the Cavia, and this is going to be a mod on cold status effect, guaranteed chance to spread the cold status proc enemies within 6 meters. So AoE cold procs, which also means AoE freezes. So you want to get as many cold procs out as possible, but we do also want to get some corrosive, because corrosive is useful for, just for killing enemies. We also get vigilante mods here to increase our crit tier. So as far as what all these mods do, I have a multi-shot toxin ribbon. Again, if you don't have that, you just put on Malignant Force instead. It's the exact same thing, maybe even a little bit better. But yeah. Multi-shot lets you get more instances of those procs quicker, so Vigilante Armaments and multi-shot. If you have a multi-shot ribbon, that's great too. You don't need it though necessarily. And you need to have a toxin mod and a electric mod to make corrosive. If you take off the electric mod, it goes to viral electric, which is not going to work for what we're doing. I mean, it would work for DPS, but it would not work for AoE cold proc. So you need to have an electric mod and a toxin mod to do that. And also we've got Rhyme Rounds. This is going to give us the cold we want to get those AoE cold procs. Now, you could throw on Prime Cryo if you wanted to, but you'd lose some status chance, so I say maybe don't do that at the end of the day. And yeah, for a Riven, this is a pretty bad Riven, honestly, guys. It's at negative 1% crit chance. This thing has, it says 5% crit chance. I thought it said 15% crit chance on the build, but Apparently not. So, yeah, this thing cannot really do tenacious bonds. This is kind of what you go for. Sinister Reach for more increased beam range by 12 meters, and some fire rate mods to get more procs out. Now, these Vigilante Fervor mods and Vigilante Armaments mods, these increase your crit tier on your actual primary. So that can be very, very helpful for what you're doing. Now, as far as wanting to make enemies get frozen, you have to run the Assault mode mod on here to make enemies get attacked by the Sentinel, and it will AoE freeze them. Also, Synth Deconstruct. Enemies damaged by the Sentinel have a chance to drop increased orbs when killed. Very, very good. We also got Momentous Bond. Killing Xmas gives you another proc. Hey, sure, why not more Condition Overload? And Manifold Bond. It's good just to have constant electric procs from Arc Coil and Guardian, but for the purpose of this build, we're not going for maximum procs from the Diraga. We're just going for maximum lockdown with the tazicor. If you were trying to go for maximum procs, you go for like the Prisma Burst Laser, I think it's called, or something like that, Burst Laser Prime. But yeah, that's not this build today. The rest of the stuff just on there to keep the Sentinel alive, and to also make it where it can shock things pretty reliably. Now, as far as my Dara here, we got the Dara Vandal and Karnan, with crit perks being High Ground, Swift Deliverance, and Crimson Overture. Now, just to think about this, I just want to show a high crit chance primary with this weapon, and it worked really good. So, yeah, Dara Vandal is decent. Not the best, but also, yeah, pretty decent. 100% crit chance. Oh, 426% crit chance on the Incarnation. I must have an invigoration right now. Yeah, I do, for at least one more day. So that might explain why it said 15% crit chance on the tazicor. Because of that, I guess it's considered a primary as far as the game spaghetti code. Yep. Okay, so it's not a primary, actually, but it's a primary on this screen for whatever reason. So, yeah, guys, that's going to be basically what I want to show you the tazicor. I do think this thing is not really, like, it's not replacing the Verglas Prime. Let's just put it like that. It's not replacing the Verglas Prime. Let me unpause these guys, too. It's not going to replace the Verglas Prime just because the Verglas Prime does really good damage. This thing is mainly utility, so if you want to use it for damage, it can do some damage, but again, it's got such low crit. If you want a DPS Sentinel gun, just use the Verglas Prime, honestly. Use Contagious Bond on that one. This one is mainly there for utility. As you can see, it does very good at the utility. These guys are actually speed Nova'd up, but they can hardly fight back, so yeah, really good. And that's also damage without Tenacious Bond. I would say one of the downfalls of this weapon is it's literally 5% base crit chance. You can't get Tenacious Bond on this to work. Even with a crit chance mod, you're going like, I think, 20%-ish crit chance. So, yeah, as far as other builds on here, a DPS build would probably utilize similar stuff, but with Serration on there for sure. They may replace Vigilante Fervor with Serration. And yeah, I would just say this, as far as where this is useful, guys, since this is on a Sentinel and not on a Beast, I would say use it in places where you don't care about having doubled up loot. Like, I would say, maybe like an EDA. If you don't have a good Verglas build, you want to lock down enemies at least. This is worth considering. Now, as far as what the best ribbons for this thing would be, my Tox ribbon, I would say, is not the best because it does dilute your cold weighting. Now, these guys are getting frozen really, really fast, but they could get frozen a little bit faster. Because of that Tox ribbon on there, the weighting of my corrosive is really, really high, and my cold weighting is pretty low. So it's not that big of a deal. I've got Punch Through, Multi-Shot, and Toxin with minus crit chance, which is fine, but I'd say at the end of the day, maybe Multi-Shot Fire Rate could be good. Just not Toxin, really. I know Toxin saves you a mod slot, so maybe it is worth it. But yeah, I just think the weighting is too high. So I would say maybe something similar to this, just not the exact same thing as it. So I hope you guys found it fun and helpful. If you have any other Sentinel guns you think are actually worth talking about, let me know in the comments down below. This one is definitely okay, but we have godly Arcwing guns like the Verglas Prime. So this is just, it's at least worth being on your radar, I'd say. So see you guys next time. For your support, take it easy. Peace.